Hello and welcome back to the Group M Services Advantage series. My name is Toni Ruotanen and I'm the APAC e-commerce lead for Group M. It's no secret that e-commerce has experienced incredible growth in the past year. The pandemic no doubt accelerated what already was a rapidly growing sector. But even prior to COVID-19, we already seen emergence of mega events and year-on-year record-breaking e-commerce sales. This can be attributed to an increase in digital lifestyle. Consumers becoming more comfortable using their mobile devices, not just for your traditional purchase journey, be it browsing, research, or completing a transaction. But even non-traditional transactions like transport, food delivery, and grocery delivery services has emerged. These behaviors has been amplified by the pandemic itself, giving rise to new trends, such as the growth of online grocery shopping, for example. We also seen a mega days taking a strong foothold in Asia Pacific. Black Friday was previously an in-store mega day sales event in the West. It has now grown in popularity online as well for brands, retailers, and consumers. And it has even sprouted off an offshoot called Cyber Monday. Then we have Alibaba Singles Day or 11/11, which kicked off in 2009, has become an online mega event in many markets, particularly here in Asia Pacific. Mega days are now well established across the world. But Southeast Asia e-commerce market platforms has done a particular stellar job on capitalizing on trends by introducing new campaign days called double days. With this, we mean 4/4, 5/5, 6/6. You get what I mean? However, with such rapid growth has also presented some challenges, such as lack of understanding of the consumer trends and the habits across these events. Maintaining a competitive advantage requires a deep understanding of what drives the consumers to purchase. This amplifies the need for more knowledge more than ever before. Group M Consumer Eye research indicates that the most important reason for consumers shop online is actually product price. That raises some questions for us. Is there a risk for brands to become too focused on price, skewing too much towards communication related to mega days? Or is this an opportunity for brands to take advantage of the increase in consumer traffic being driven to these shopping destinations with high purchase intent in mind? In this series, we will take a deeper look at this topic, shed light on how brands can differentiate themselves as more brands join the mega days and double days, optimize their overall e-commerce strategy while including mega days as a tactic, build your brand while avoiding a race to the bottom on pricing, set the right level of pricing and discount between double days and always on campaigns, prepare for an advertising world without third-party cookies, and most importantly, how e-commerce might change in the future. Will we see customer fatigue from the many shopping days? And if so, what are the implications? In this first session, we will take a closer look at the data around mega days and discuss some of the trends surrounding pricing, traffic volumes, consumer expectation, and of course, the rapidly evolving data landscape that increases the complexities of using consumer data for accurate targeting and tracking. Joining me today are Sajeesh and Kishor from Shopalyst and Damian from Criteo. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to hear what you have to share with us today related to the topics we're going to be discussing. Before we start, let's just do a quick round of introduction. Shall we start with you, Sajeesh?
Sure. Hi, Tony. Thank you so much for having us on this topic, which is very relevant as well as an interesting one in the context of things that we're dealing today. This is Sajeesh, co-founder of Shopalyst, and I also have Kishor, our data scientist. Quick word about Shopalyst. Shopalyst, we are a data and technology company, and we work in the intersection of digital marketing, commerce, and data analytics. We have true global footprint in terms of our offering to the brands across the 30+ countries. And of course, Southeast Asia is a key focus area for us, both from business and data perspective. So thank you so much again for having us, Tony.
Thank you, Sajeesh. Damian?
Tony, thank you very much for having us along on this. I resonate well with Sajeesh, and again, thank you for inviting Criteo along to speak at this event. So just a little bit about us as a business and me as well. So I'm the sales director for the ad agency world across Southeast Asia. And then from a business perspective, Criteo is essentially a global technology company that helps marketers and media owners reach their goals through the world's leading commerce media platform. And to give you a little bit of a vision and an idea of what we're really trying to do from now and onwards is really to bring richer experience to every consumer by powering the world's marketers and media owners with trusted and impactful advertising. That's a little bit of a snapshot in terms of where Criteo is and a little bit about myself, and I look forward to the discussion today.
Thank you. And so let's then, without further ado, let's jump into the first question. With monthly double-day campaigns on platforms like Lazada and Shopee, have these events caused unfavorable sales impact on always-on campaigns? Sajeesh, let's listen to what Shopalyst has to say.
Sure. Before I answer this, let me give a brief perspective into the whole assessment that we have done for this whole exercise. On this particular double days analysis, we have processed and analyzed data across key markets that includes both Thailand and Indonesia. And then we split it across 4 different categories, from beauty to personal care to fashion and consumer electronics. Our data processing algorithms crunched through roughly 10 million data points for the whole of 2021. And we have also considered the 11 data, which is from 2020 for benchmarking purpose as well. Our approach essentially is to assess the data across several matrices, and those matrices include pricing and discounting strategy, the market share, the impact of flash sales, and we also have a segmentation in terms of both official as well as non-official store, which is relevant in the context of the Southeast Asian market. Jumping on to the specific question, Tony, if you look at the 2021 double day sales from 1/1 to 5/5, it clearly shows that customer enthusiasm hasn't gone down. Instead, it shows a clear rise in the sales, and the highest that we could see is in 5/5. Even though the overall sales are higher during the double days, there are many categories where we did see relatively comparable sales during normal days as well. So consumers are not always waiting for the double days to make a purchase decision. With the right kind of discounting and pricing, if it is available, they are willing to make the purchase on any given day, is what we reckon. We have seen good examples across categories where brands participate more or less on a regular basis on flash sales and always on sales strategy. I also want to call out an interesting example, which we picked up from Thailand. It's the Songkran festival, which typically happens in the middle of April, where we could see that if you look at a category like beauty, the sales are even better compared to a double day like 4/4, which happened a couple of weeks back there. So there are exceptions, but in general, the consumer enthusiasm is on the rise, is what we could underline, Tony.
So you're saying that overall in 2021, you've seen the e-commerce business grow more than anything. So these new introduction of double days hasn't had any unfavorable impact right now?
No unfavorable impact. That's right.
Very interesting insight. Damian, from Criteo's perspective, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, we resonate well with the Shopalyst data as well. We're seeing strong sales on those specific days. The lead up to it, you'll see spikes in traffic kind of as 2 days prior to it. You'll see little bits of spikes in the traffic leading to those specific sales. And that would be really the users and consumers doing a little bit of research prior to those single days or double days, should we call them. And we've seen strong growth in the likes of Vietnam, Malaysia, being really strong in those specific days of sales as well. We can deep dive into kind of specifics in terms of categories as well that we've seen kind of strong growth in as well. And those are things around apparel and accessories, sporting goods, and health and beauty that we're seeing strong spikes throughout that kind of period as well. So again, we kind of resonate well and agree with the Shopalyst data. There's not a kind of a banner burn or a purchase burn, I guess is the right way to describe it in terms of users fatigue around these specific sales day.
Oh, thank you, Damian. So let's jump into the next question. There is a perception that official stores are getting tough competition from third-party sellers on these marketplace platforms. I know Shopalyst, you analyze the data from both Lazada and Shopee. What is your observation? Is official store being undercut on sales?
Sure, Tony. So based on the data that we have analyzed, it looks like the unofficial stores have dominated the official stores. And in fact, in some of the Southeast Asian regions and countries, we see the unofficial stores taking up around 60 to 70% of the market share in certain categories. And this dominance is also seen in listing percentages in terms of the catalog spread and listing percentage, with unofficial stores carrying a wider range as well as having a depth in the number of products they carry. And what's interesting here is we have seen this pattern during the non-sales period when the double day sales do not happen. However, during double day sales, we have seen a reversal of this trend in specific categories. I can take a few examples here. Personal care in Thailand, face care in Indonesia. We have seen official stores improving their share, both in terms of listings as well as the overall market percentage. So what we infer from this data, looking into all the data points that Sajeesh had mentioned, we see that the non-official stores have performed well during non-sales days, but the official stores have been able to close the gap through various options, both in terms of giving price promotions as well as increasing their marketing. And we think this has helped the official stores close the gap.
So you think that potentially the contribution of on-platform marketing has driven better visibility for official stores over unofficial store or third-party sellers?
Right, that is right. So the marketing push, the deep discounts have helped the double day promotions that have happened. They have all helped the official stores close the gap.
Oh, that's interesting to hear. Damian, from Criteo's view, what are you seeing?
So we don't have specific data on official and unofficial stores. I can talk to the fact that we see advertisers coming back and really kind of upping spend in these days to drive to official stores. But we don't have specific data around on comparing unofficial and official stores. It's just a kind of more that we can talk to that piece.
Okay, thank you. So let's jump into the third questions. And this is mainly for Shopalyst. Are these new events training consumers to be price conscious? We know from our own consumer eye research that we conduct on an annual basis that most important reasons why consumers shop online is actually the product prices. Do we see evidence of consumers becoming even more price conscious and potentially even harming loyalty? What are we seeing from the data?
Sure. So we have seen consistent behavior on this parameter, and that is across categories and throughout the Southeast Asian region. The market is very sensitive to price. We can also infer from the analysis of historical sales events that the impact of discount has created a positive correlation with sales and hence in return with the market share. We have also seen some interesting aspects. There are categories where, for example, 60% of the listings are always discounted, even on regular sales days. And in double days discounts, what the sellers, both official and non-official, and the brands had to kick in additional discounts to further improve their sales in these specific categories. And the other side of this is we have data points to indicate that brands that have reduced their discounts over a period of time have been losing market share, while brands which have improved their discounting percentages have seen a rise in their market share. So what we clearly see is that the double days as well as the always on sales is clearly driving consumer purchasing behavior to be more and more price conscious. So price does have an impact, and with the global pandemic situation and everything else contributing, we do see customers becoming more price conscious and deciding some of the consumer purchasing decisions.
So what I heard from you just say that if a brand keeps a stable fixed discount over a longer period of time, potentially could have a negative adverse impact on sales, while doing a potentially adjustments on a regular basis, up or down, creating that sense of urgency seems to be a vital what you see from the data.
That is correct.
Okay, that's good advice for brands to really think, because I know there is a lot of brands that keeps the stable, constant, always on discount at one specific rate. That actually they should be driving some variable discounts and play around with what works and triggers call to action. Appreciate the input. Damian, let's jump over to Criteo for a while and start talking about some data side of it. Double days drives increase in traffic for the platform, which in return increases sales for a lot of the brands who's participating in campaigns. What strategy would a brand be able to do and deploy to differentiate himself from the masses if they so wanted?
Yeah, thank you, Tony. It's a good question. I think that what we're starting to see from brands is really having a longer lead time up into these single days or double day sales. Some of the strategies that we're starting to deploy with clients is really around video, mid-funnel, and then the retargeting piece. And they are kind of very different strategies if you think about them as a siloed piece, but then also as you kind of bring them all together, why would a client really activate all three of them? So if we kind of take them singular and discuss video to start with, it's really building that brand advocacy in fans. So it's trying to find those new audiences that perhaps haven't researched for your brand, or you are bringing out a new makeup. It's that kind of conversation that you want to have with these consumers. And then from a mid-funnel, there's kind of three tactics you can kind of think around from that point of view. It's really thinking about the audiences that you'll be targeting. So they could be in-market audiences, and they are kind of commerce audiences. So they're in market to purchase that makeup. Or you could utilize custom audiences. This is essentially using your CRM data from your platform. So going, okay, let me target these users because I know that they purchase lipsticks, for instance, or you give them a special offer up to that lead time. And then you could use things like similar audiences inside that strategy as well, and thinking about retargeting users that are similar to your clients that come to your website today, or consumers that come to your website today. And then when you think about that, they will then trickle down to a retargeting piece, which is your real hardcore push to purchase. It's really going, hey, let's use a coupon in this environment. Let's start thinking about discounts. Let's bring them back to purchase. And then also similarly, that's really then thinking about how do you upsell them as well. So if they have purchased something, maybe a blusher, you could then go, okay, let's bring them back to purchase a lipstick, which is an upsell experience from them. So we're starting to see advertisers really adopt these kind of longer experiences to bring consumers and into their platforms to purchase. But it's really bringing fans back as well as new consumers as well. And that's what we're seeing from a Criteo standpoint, that real full funnel experience for them.
Thank you for that. There is a hot topic in the industry right now that is becoming a reality early next year. That's the losing the access to cookies. And I know Criteo has been working on solutions to compensate or roll out new services to where you don't need cookies. So with the cookieless world coming and becoming reality less than a year for many of our brands, what do they need to start thinking about and to change their approach to be ready for next year? From Criteo's perspective, what can you offer the brands, what they can do and do differently moving forward?
Yeah, excellent question. And as you say, it's a hot topic as we kind of lead into 2022. I kind of want to take a step back in terms of what we see from a cookie, or what a cookie is. And there's kind of two parts of that puzzle, I guess. There's the first party and the third party. And the third party cookie is essentially the piece that's going to go away. And that's from an advertiser perspective, dropping a cookie onto your machine, and then being able to retarget you and follow you across the web. Not to say that you won't be able to do that from an advertising experience. Is essentially what we will start to do is really think about that first party cookie. And that's really thinking about giving control back to the consumer, and really thinking about giving that consumer transparency about what's happening with your data. And then starts to speak to this unified ID 2.0, which is Criteo's solution and pretty much the open web solution to the cookieless world. And there's a bunch of stuff that's happening in the background around that piece, but there's a plethora of kind of information that you can see online and read about that. To go back to your kind of original question of what can advertisers start to think about, it's starting to think about things like cohorts. So that's really segmenting audiences of in-market for purchases, such as trousers, jeans, t-shirts, etc., etc. And that will really be led from being able to bucket those users, will be derived from Google's world of being able to say what the cohorts look like. Then another piece that Criteo is really starting to think about is that contextual world. The contextual world is not going back to the 2005s. It's actually taking a little bit of a different step, and it's moving into 2022. And it's really thinking about how do you bring this unified ID together with a contextual targeted experience. So contextual targeting, to give you an idea in terms of what that actually looks like, it gives you the ability to be able to scrape the page for keywords, for instance. It will also give you the ability to be able to see what's on the page from a graphic point of view. So I'm on an article looking at a handbag. It will scrape the data in terms of from a keyword perspective, but it will also see what the pictures are on that as well. So then contextual then from a Criteo standpoint will go to our commerce media platform, which is essentially this unified ID, and then find those users that are across that page. So then we can start building a really strong picture of these users. And then that gives you the ability to be able to start going, okay, I want to target users that are in market for a handbag, and we'll use that contextual piece as well. We score all the users. So to give you an idea, I might be looking at a handbag page, but actually for my last kind of 30 days, I've actually been looking at trainers. Will score me as a user, and then we'll go, okay, actually this person is in market for a trainer. While we're looking at a handbag article, I will then be served a trainer graphic and advertisement from the advertising company. So that's essentially what we're thinking about from this experience from a cookieless world. I think it's going to be a different world, and it's really starting to think about contextual cohorts and then this real first-party data experience for advertisers as well.
Thank you for sharing, Damian. At this time, we are coming to an end of the session. And first of all, I want to thank both Shopalyst and Criteo for sharing your views, your perspectives, your data-driven information that you shared with us. I want to thank both Sajeesh, Kishor, and Damian for joining us today and sharing your insight with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.